Well, good morning, everybody. It's Thursday morning, and you know I love Thursday mornings because I don't work on Fridays anymore. However, this Thursday morning is a little bit different, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first of all, it sometimes absolutely amazes me. I've got to say that, because I drive to work and I chat away, and I do admit that sometimes I sit there and I wonder if I said anything of any value, or did I just chat to the camera? Well, it was funny because yesterday was one of those days where when I turned the camera off, I thought, well, I'm not sure, I hope that helps somebody. And what amazed me was the people who wrote to me. So thank you so much. When you do that, it's nice to know that there was something in there that helps somebody. And I've always said, if it helps one person, then it's worth doing. Can you see what I'm saying? That if you just, by saying something, help one person, it's worth doing. And the strange thing about life is, you never know what it is that you're going to say that's going to have a meaningful effect on somebody's life. It's scary. I have had so many people come to me and say, you know, I listened to you speak at this XYZ convention 20 years ago, and I remember you saying, and they'll give me this one line, or part of a one line. And I'll go, what? And they go, oh yeah, it changed my life forever. I never forgot it. And then you go, I can't even remember saying it, but I guess I must have done. And it makes you realize as well as that sometimes you just don't know what you're going to say that's going to help somebody. So I just want to thank those of you who do write back and say, thank you, it made a difference. To let you know that it encourages me to carry on doing what I'm doing. And it's important, because today I want to discuss about fear, which is not an easy subject to talk about for anybody, and it definitely isn't one that's easy for me to talk about. And today I should be really happy because it's Thursday, which is my Friday, because I don't work Fridays anymore. But after work today, by the time you're watching this, I will have lost a major tooth. Luckily at the back of my mouth. But I will have lost a molar that's been holding on a bridge. So I'm going to lose this back tooth, and then this tooth in front of it is already a false tooth. And so I'm going to have this dirty great gap in my mouth for at least 6 to 8 weeks. Because what's going to happen is that they've got to wait for, obviously, this cavity that I will have in my gum to heal properly before they can, and the swelling to go down, before they can do the next piece of work. And so I am terrified. I don't mind telling you. I don't do pain well. I definitely don't do dentists well. I am actually traumatized by going to the dentist. Not just a little scared. I get traumatized. I fake it really well, except my dentist knows me really well. And apparently what my eyes do when I'm in that chair tells him everything he needs to know about my level of trauma. So it is really, really scary. But the good news is, by the time you see this, it'll all be over, except I'll probably be in a certain amount of pain. And I'm certain that leaning down and emptying out the dishwasher is going to be extremely painful. And I'm mentioning that because I was running a bit late this morning and decided not to empty the dishwasher. And now I'm realizing I'm going to regret that when I come home tonight. Or maybe I'll just hand wash my stuff for a couple of days. You know, there are going to be certain things leaning over, I seem to remember. It's extremely painful after you have had a tooth extracted. Something to do with the blood rushing to that area, or not rushing. I don't know which it is, one of the two. But I know it's very, very painful. So, I'm just really terrified. And now, this is where I want to get into the discussion, because there are two different ways that this plays out. Number one, you do understand that as an adult, I know I'm going to be fine, and I'm going to be in good hands, and yes, it could hurt, but not for long, you know, and all is well. But that little kid inside me that is unable to defend itself, I think, gets scared. There's something quite, what's the word? I'll think of the word later. But, you know, when you're lying in a dentist chair, then you don't have a lot of options. You know, I have no wish to bite my dentist, who is the best dentist I've ever found in my life. I have no wish to bite him. So I make sure that they put in a rubber guard that stops me closing my mouth. It also stops me from getting lockjaw, because it allows you to rest your jaw a little bit. So the two different sides of it are, intellectually I understand all of this, but boy, that kid inside me, the emotional side of me, that's a whole different story. That is a whole different story. So it's really quite strange, isn't it? And I'm certain I'm probably not the only one that has this reaction. And we also know, because we're adults, that this reaction was brought about by something. Some trauma happened that created this. Because, you know, you don't just make this up. This is reliving stuff that causes this. So I may never know what that is. But it really, let's put it this way. Tomorrow, although I'm sure I'll be in quite a bit of pain, I won't have to be worrying about how bad it's going to be. I'll know how bad it is. And then I wish it was yesterday again. The other thing I am wondering is whether this whole setup that's been happening in the back of my mouth here hasn't actually been some level of infection that's been going through my body for some time. So I am hoping, and part of the reason why I am doing this is I'm hoping that by getting rid of this tooth, it'll improve the health of my body. Not that there's much wrong with my body. Let me hasten to add that I have a very healthy body. So the Bean Bean report is he is continuing to do really, really well. He definitely, you know, he's never going to be able to do the things he really would like to do again, but he is doing really well by comparison to where he was last week. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, because it's really cute to watch him. He's back to his old self. I'm busy following a car that I think the guy's pedaling rather than got his foot on an accelerator. I'm sure that's not true, but it feels like it. But another great day. It's warmer this morning, actually. Now that I look at it, 17 in Canada and 62 already in US terms. So it's another beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky. It's going to be a scorcher. Now, a scorcher in our terms, you understand, is probably quite pleasant. We like those sort of scorches. So, to us, 30 is a scorching hot day. And I know that there are a lot of, 30, that's 30 Canadian. That would be sort of 80-ish, I guess, on your American scale. But that's what I always said, that's what I love about the Pacific Northwest. It never gets too hot, although we feel it gets hot. It doesn't, let's not be to Africa, I know what hot is. It never gets too hot, and it never really gets too cold. And I think that that's part of the reason why we all put up with the rain. We'd rather rust from the rain than, rather rust from the rain than dig out of snow. It's much more fun. You don't have to do anything with rain, it disappears. Well, unless you get a flood, which, touch wood, I haven't had. Well, actually that's not true, but not for rain reasons. So really it's a beautiful climate. I love it. I hated it the first few years I was here, I don't mind telling you. I'd come from Africa, and I just couldn't believe that people lived in this weather. And now I absolutely love the weather. I can remember my brother coming to visit me from Africa, because he lives there, and he said the same thing. Why does anybody live here? It does nothing but rain. And I said that would be pretty true of October, yes. October is one of our rainy months. But I said, you can't judge the whole country's weather system by their fall weather pattern of 1 week. It's very unfortunate that the week you chose to visit, it rained. And it rained, and it rained, and it rained. But he still to this day cannot understand why anybody lives in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, right. We like it that way. So I'm hoping to add to the end of this tonight, even if it's just with words, to let you know that all is okay and that I survived. Because I know some of you will worry, and I bless you for that. That's very cute. I did put up a note to say that I'm not going to broadcast at all this weekend, and that's what I thought I'd start there and say I'm not going to broadcast. If by any chance I'm not in pain enough that I think I can do a broadcast, I will do a spontaneous one. But I'd much rather say I'm not going to broadcast and have everybody believe that than disappoint people by not being able to do it when I say I'm going to. So that's the way I decided to do it, and I really have to thank Jen for that very wise piece of advice. Jen, you were right. Give yourself a weekend off. That's going to hurt. So I appreciate that. I sat and played that back to myself a couple of times before I made the decision, and I know how much you care, and you're right. I would ask that of anybody else, and I really appreciate your support in that. Alright, I'm getting into the noisy part now, so I'm going to thank you all for being here with me, and hope that some of you understand some of the fear I'm going through, and I hope in a way that the fact that I get that scared makes some of you feel a little better about whatever it is that you fear. I think owning it is half the problem. I think that when we pretend that we don't have fear, that it gets to be internalized, and that's what causes illness, I believe. And the same as you've heard me say, I believe that anger, retained anger, causes depression. If you're really angry at something or somebody and you don't deal with it, you start to resent that person and that thing, and that turns into depression. I don't know why that is, but that was when I realized that in my life, that was true for me, I stopped getting depressed. It's amazing, isn't it? When I realized that when I started to get those feelings of resentment or whatever, I'm going, whoa, 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 why am I resenting this person or this thing? And then I'd answer that for myself, and then I go, wow, you better do something about that, or else you know where this is going. And then I'd either make a conscious decision to forget about it, or I would go and talk about it, which is not easy to do. But what I knew, and what I do know now, is holding it in and being angry is not the answer. It is not healthy. Okay, on that note, I'm going to continue my way to work. And the next time you see me, oh, that's the another thing. You do understand there might be a few days without any videos, because if I can't talk, there are not going to be any videos. I don't know, maybe I'll make a plan around that. I'll do something that doesn't require a lot of talking. I'll give that some thought. See what else I can come up with. Alright everybody, this is DearMamaSal saying thank you for watching, and bye.